Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm having my smoothie while people log on. So if you're watching the replay, please bear with me while we wait for people to get on the live. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Christmas Eve. Happy Jewel to all of you out there. I'm having my healthy smoothie today. Good morning. Welcome. We are going to be doing the message of the day. Hello. Wait for some of you to get your notifications while I drink my Power Peanut Butter Plus from King Smoothie. Not sponsored. So, in the meantime, shout out to the real sponsors of this video. Spirit Guides of Light. Spirit Guides, Guardians, Benevolent Ancestors, and Angels. God and Goddess, the true sponsors of this video. So, now that we've given this their rightful shout out. So, message of the day. Oh, thank you, Mystic. That was very fun last night. Message of the day. So, today we're going to be doing the message of the day with one of my favorite tarot decks. Before we start the message, let's go on. And I just want to remind you guys of a few things. If you would like to book a reading, a spiritual work consultation for spiritual work or conjure, or if you would like to join my tarot course or book a spiritual life coaching session, you can do so in my link in bio. If you would like to get any of my magical products, you can do so in my link in bio. Housekeeping things. The magical VIP group is reopening up on the 1st of January. We are currently moving it to a more private platform because Instagram was messing with me. So my VIP group is moving to my private academy. So if you wanted to join the magical VIP group, you can do so starting on January 1st. The 25% off all orders over 25 for the magical collection ends on New Year's Eve. And for those of you who don't know when New Year's Eve is, according to the calendar, it is the 31st of December. And anyone who wants to join the tarot course, the sale for the tarot course also ends on New Year's Eve. So that's my little spiel. Thank you to our sponsors again, Spirit Guides of Light. Because there's nobody sponsoring me but God, guys. So, and the spirits. So I figured, I gave them their rightful acknowledgement. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the message of the day. What the spirit wants to say to us today. I don't even know what time it is, y'all. I've been up for so long. I don't even know what time it is. Don't even know the time right now. It's all right. I live in my own reality anyway, so I don't need to know the time. All right. Message of the day for the collective. We're going to go ahead and do the message of the day with the Light Seers Tarot, which I keep getting the name wrong, so I apologize to the maker of the tarot deck. And I also want to pull some cards from Goddess and Sirens. This is a really cool deck. It is primarily of goddesses and sirens. For those of you who don't know what a siren is, it's a mermaid. In Spanish, it is a sirena. And the reason where the word siren comes from... My cat is crazy, y'all. She's crazy. What are you doing? I swear, my cat just puts a show on for you guys. But yeah, so this is a really cool deck. It's called Goddesses and Sirens by Stacy DeMarco. So for those of you who don't know why sirens are called sirens is because of the mermaid song, because the mermaids were believed to have such beautiful voices that they would enchant men, and they would end up swimming to their death because they were trying to follow the beautiful voice of the mermaids. Did you know that? Did you know that? We're here all about the learning, all about the magical learning. Alrighty. So, wow. That came out quick. Oh, wow. Sekhmet, the goddess of war. Yes, my cat is acting up. Did you see her? She was just like pulling on my shades. She's crazy. Sekhmet. I always say her name wrong. She came out right away with the message about reduction. So, I know that around Christmas time, we get a lot of new things. We tend to throw away that which we no longer want anymore. But let's think about how we can reduce the waste. Reduce, reuse, recycle. How we can reduce the waste that we put out into the world. How we can give life to old things. Sekhmet is usually known for being the goddess of war in ancient Egyptian mythology. But she is known for being so fierce, right? So some believe that she was actually the goddess Bastet, which is the goddess of cats. And one day, for some reason, she went on a rampage and became the goddess of lions and tigers and all those fierce cats of the wild. And Ra didn't know what to do with her, so he decided to give her a drink to calm her down, and then she became tamed again, and she became her old self, her little goddess of cats, Bastet again, the goddess of perfume and seduction and love and all of that. So that was very interesting, Sekhmet. But I'm gonna leave that card out because I wanted to do the tarot message first, but then she came out, so I had to show you guys. And I'm gonna read a little bit more about her from the actual book, so I can share that with you. But her message seems to be about reduction, about not having waste. So that's what I'm getting from that. Also, how do you reduce yourself, and how do you dim your light to make others more comfortable, right? A lot of the times we dim our light and people are like, oh, you need to be more like this, or you need to be more like that. So we dim our light, okay? To make people more comfortable. The moon is coming out here. So a lot of hidden secrets. A lot of hidden secrets. A lot of hidden things are coming to the light right now. So pay attention. Pay attention to the subtle energies of the world right now. Subtle energies of the universe and the moon, because there are a lot of hidden secrets being brought to light. A lot of illusions shattering. Okay, because the moon card talks about illusions that we hold up, like we hold ourselves up in this illusion that in order for us to be happy, we have to have this, and this, and this, and this. In reality, in order for us to have peace and happiness, we have to find it within ourselves first. And also, a lot of the lies that we are just so used to absorbing in the world. So the moon card is telling us, buckle up, especially buckle up for the next full moon, because by the next full moon, there's going to be a lot of truths coming out. By the next full moon, there's going to be a lot of masks taken off, in the sense of demasking a lot of things that have been in the background, that have been hidden from us, about people around us, about the ways of the world. That is a helicopter over my house. Yep. That is an army helicopter. Do you hear that? It's literally shaking my roof. Okay. The military is up to something today, y'all. Military is up to something. Anyway, back to this. But that was perfect, right? The military is up to something. And we're talking about things being exposed. So things being exposed, being brought to light. So by the next full moon, there's going to be a lot of things being brought to light about a lot of people, about a lot of situations that we have been lied to about everything that's going on right now and what's really happening. So keep your eyes peeled, because the next full moon is going to be revealing all that. Alexa, turn off, please. My Alexa is going crazy. She's just doing her own thing. Okay. The King of Swords. Alrighty. Making up your own mind. Okay. So the King of Swords is all about making up your own mind, controlling your own thoughts. We were talking about this yesterday in Magic and Mindset with Sam about how important it is to control your thoughts and to be a master of your mind and not let your mind be your master, okay? Because a lot of times when we let our mind become our master and we become servants to our thoughts, we become servants to our negative thoughts, we lose a lot in the process. So making sure, this is very interesting that the King of Swords would come out with the Moon card. And that tells me for sure that there's a lot of hidden secrets that are about to be revealed. So you're going to have to listen to your intuition, and you're going to have to make up your mind by listening to your intuition. And you can't be blinded anymore. You cannot allow yourself to be blind anymore to what's really happening in the world. Because a lot of us don't look because we don't want to see. It's not because we aren't being shown. It is because we don't want to see, okay? Like, for example, I'll share some sort of information with one of my siblings or one of my friends, and they just don't want to see the truth. They don't want to see it. So they will just literally not even look at what I sent, or they will not even look at what I'm trying, the information I'm trying to present, because they don't want their illusions to be shattered. Okay? So we have to be open to the fact that our illusions may be shattered. Coming up here. You don't want to acknowledge the truth. Death and rebirth. So we're going through a process of death and rebirth. We have a system that is dying and a new system that is being reborn. So there's the angel of death showing us that there is a new day inside of death. Inside of all the death and destruction, there is a new beginning. There is a new day. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. So very, very serious situations here for the collective. Queen of Pentacles. Look at that. Stepping into your physical power. Manifesting that which you desire. For those of us who have already upgraded to the 5th dimensional field, you don't have to really worry about what's going on. You're just going to kind of be like, well, I knew that. My intuition already told me that. I already knew that. You're going to be like, that's not news to me. Because you're already in your power. You've already stepped into your truest self and your true form and your true purpose. So for those of us who've already stepped into our power, a lot of these illusions that are going to be shattered for other people are not going to be a surprise for us. Because we're like, didn't you realize that already? Like, what took you so long? You know? Because we're already realizing, hey, nobody can live on $600, right? So a lot of us are gonna have to realize we're gonna have to start our own businesses. We're gonna have to start trading with each other the way our ancestors used to, where they would make. If I made candles and my friend made swords or whatever, or made whatever it is that is needed, my friend sold chickens or eggs or whatever, then we would have to trade with each other in order to thrive and to be able to have power and have sovereignty over our own lives. So we can't depend on an external system to take care of our needs. We have to go into ourselves and our spirit guides to assist us in this process and to step into our power of being able to be sovereign and how we get our coins so that we can take care of ourselves and our family and those we love. So if you have been thinking about starting your own business, okay, we're going to have to start on that system of supporting each other. right? Because if we support each other's businesses, we can both thrive. We can all thrive. So we may need to start going to that system, not necessarily just bartering, but the system of exchanging services, exchanging products, exchanging money and energy between one another, rather than just giving it to corporations that don't have a face, don't have a name, that don't care about our purchases. So supporting our small businesses, supporting each other, and growing our small businesses, growing our communities, instead of just supporting big corporations that don't care about your purchase, that really could care less whether you enjoy your product or not, or whether you enjoy your service or not. Okay, so the need to start supporting one another, that is something that our ancestors were really big on, was supporting, at least in certain indigenous communities, certain communities, like when I study historical communities like the Norse people and the African, I'm talking about from 5,000 years ago, before the introduction of Christianity and all these things. But before, 4,000, 5,000 years ago, the indigenous people of the Americas, they traded, they traded their goods, they exchanged goods, they sold to each other. So the indigenous people from North Carolina would trade with the Mohawks in the north, in the Mohawk Mountains in New York, and they would trade their goods and services amongst each other. Okay, so that they would be able to all benefit and all have success. All right, so we're gonna have to start becoming a little bit more sovereign. Like this morning, Spirit told me you need to learn to farm your own food, and I was like, what? Yeah, Spirit told me this morning we need to learn to farm our own food again. Okay, we need to learn to start farming our own food, making our own candles, making our own things, or supporting those people and exchanging with those people that know how to have those skills, because we have become so dependent on technology. And when you become so dependent on technology and others to provide for you, then you will take whatever they give you. We will take whatever they give us, and that may come with poison, right? Like when a certain someone gave blankets to the indigenous that were covered in not chickenpox, in what is it, yellow fever? Was it yellow fever? I don't remember. But you guys get what I'm saying. So that which is being offered to you might be filled with poison. You don't know. So it's time now to get our sovereignty back, to start becoming the rulers of ourselves, and to smallpox. Thank you. That's what I was thinking about. I said chickenpox. I meant smallpox. Blankets full of smallpox, right? But you have to realize that sometimes what somebody else is offering may not be the best thing for you. What someone else, the government is offering us, $600 a month? Who can live on $600? Okay, so you have to remember that. Like, we have to start becoming more sovereign again and start to take back our power, because we are our own rulers. We should be our own rulers. We should be the ones that our community should be the one benefiting from what we do, right? 3 of Pentacles, cooperating with one another. So there we go. We're going to have to start cooperating more with one another, making things, exchanging goods and services. That's where the world is going to have to go, unless we are ready to just give up. We don't want to give up. Spirit is saying you have the power in your hands. Take your power back. And if you take your power back, you don't have to go hungry. You don't have to give up. You don't have to feel despair. You don't have to fall to darkness. You need to take your power back and start working with one another to have our sovereignty, okay? To be rulers of our own reality, to be the kings and queens of our own realities, okay? So that's where it's going. That's where Spirit is pushing it to, back to the exchange system, the exchange amongst your own community. But you have to take your power back, all right? We have to take our power back. We have allowed our employees in the government to think that they are our bosses. And that's not how it works. And I don't usually talk politics on here, but I will tell you this. They work for us, and they have forgotten that they work for us. They think we work for them, and that's not how it works. So if someone who is your representative is not representing you, then they should get fired, and we should take back our own power and do it ourselves. A lot of people may get off this live because they don't like what I'm saying, and that's okay. Cover your eyes, don't look at it, pretend it doesn't exist, and think that it's going to fix itself. You realize that even though spirit is out there fighting for us, we have to do our part. We have to put in our work too. We have to do something too. We can't just sit back and think that spirit is going to do it all for us, or leave it to the people who have heard the call from spirit, who have heard the call and are out there protesting, are out there saying this is not right. You shouldn't be getting paid while I have to suffer, while I have to starve. Like Mr. Cuomo over there. Whether you like him or hate him, whatever. He hasn't missed a paycheck, honey. You can't cover the sun and pretend that it doesn't exist. So we need to start taking our power back. Knight of Wands, we need to take action. We need to take action. We need to listen to that fire within our spirit and realize that spirit has given us everything that we need within ourselves, and take our power back. We don't need to be ruled by others. We don't need to be ruled by others. Why? Why do we need to be ruled by others? When God is our only ruler. God and Goddess are our only rulers. Nobody else, nobody in the government is missing a paycheck. Meanwhile, thousands and millions of people are committing suicide, are dying of suicide and hunger. But you can sit up on your high tower and tell everybody how you are in this together. No. Okay? So let's take our power back. Let's demand the truth. You can't cover the sun and pretend it doesn't exist. Okay? The Emperor, the ruler. We are the rulers of our own realities. So back in spirit is telling you, you need to take your power back. The Emperor is not going to allow someone to tell them how they are supposed to live their life. Okay? You have to make strategic moves that make sense. Make it make sense. Okay? Because we have to look at all of the aspects of this situation that we're living in currently. Okay? We have to look at all of the aspects, not just on what the news wants to tell us, not just on what the government want to tell us, but what we know is the truth. Listen to your intuition. Spirit is telling you you are being lied to, but you are being fed the lie and you're eating it. Spirit is telling you, listen to your intuition. Sometimes the devil shows up in the prettiest clothing. It has the most charming smile and the most charming laugh and the most charming voice. Because that's what the devil does. The devil comes in the most charming form so that you will be fooled by what the devil is saying. But yet when God comes in truth, you hate him. When God comes in strength and tells you the truth, and you may not like the truth, you want to hate God for it. Because you want to cover the sun and pretend it doesn't exist. No, we have to stop falling for the lies, because the devil tells you the lies you want to hear, because he knows you're going to fall for it. Wake up. Four of Swords. A lot of people need rest. A lot of people are going through a lot of physical symptoms of ascension. Okay? So a lot of people are going through a lot of physical symptoms of ascension. So you may be feeling very depressed, very down. This is also like we have to stand up for the people. Yes, I understand standing up for being safe and not getting sick, and that's extremely understandable. I understand that. But what about the people who are committing suicide because they can't feed their families? because they're committing suicide because they lost the job of their life. They lost a job that they loved, that they needed. Something has to change. Something has to change. What about the people who are losing everything they've worked for their entire life? We have to stand up for those people too, for the people who are committing suicide, who are being told that they can't feed their families, that they're not essential. So, come on. We need to stand up for those people too. The High Priestess, we have to listen to our intuition. Right now, there are tons of people who may be opening, in the next couple of days, there's going to be people that are going to be opening a whole bunch of gifts, right? And there's going to be people who won't be able to eat. And we have to remember that a lot of that has to do with the way that the government has handled certain situations. Because when we allow others to represent us, we allow them to do whatever they want. I believe every single person in the world is essential. And this may not be what you want to hear. And that's okay. If you don't want to hear it, that's okay. But you can't cover the sun and pretend it doesn't exist. And just point fingers. That's like the most immature thing to do. All I've seen people this whole year is point fingers. Well, you're doing wrong. Well, what have we done correctly? What have we done to help the situation? What have we done to better the issue? That is the message Spirit wants you to come out of this with today, is realizing that there is such a thing as toxic positivity. When you are just positive, that it becomes negative. When it becomes to the point where it actually starts to hurt people, because you are being so positive that you are just putting a blanket over all of these issues that are deep rooted and that need to be resolved. Because you are blessed enough, right? Some of us are blessed enough to not have been affected by what's going on. So we think, oh, the world is fine because we haven't been affected. The world is fine because we haven't been affected financially, or our health hasn't been affected, or our mental health hasn't been affected. So we think, okay, then the world must be fine. No, that's not true. We have to bring light into the fact that if we don't stand up together, a lot of people are like, oh, why are you being so messy and so difficult? Why do you have to tell people to stand together and stand up for the truth? Stand up for the truth, because there is power in numbers. If we don't stand together, if we don't come together and realize who our true enemies are, rather than who our enemies are telling us are our enemies, because our enemies are telling us that each other is our enemy. That if you're a Democrat, the Republicans are your enemies. That if you're a Republican, the Democrats are your enemies. That's what they're doing. That's the game they're playing. When you realize is that if Republican and Democrat and independent and liberal, whatever, if we come together and we look at the government and we say, what are you doing? Because what are we paying you for? And we actually stand up together, we'll get more done than just allowing them to point fingers at each other. Because that's what a person does when they're not doing their job and they want to deflect. Divide and conquer. A nation divided will fall. A nation united will stand. It all comes down to our mentality. A lot of us are choosing, here it is, the Seven of Cups. There it is. See how there's like a little snake underneath that pot? So a lot of us are choosing the snake with the pot. Choosing the pot with the snake in it. That's right. If everybody stands up, this place would be a beautiful place. If we stood up for each other, if we stood up for the earth, if we stood up for each other's ability to believe whatever they want to believe and see God in whatever way they want to see God, we would be in a much better place. If we focused on parenting our children rather than putting them in front of the television and letting the TV parent our children. Spirit is making me feel that a lot of us who have children need to start involving them in crafts rather than just letting them watch television, letting them watch YouTube, and letting people on YouTube be the ones that influence them. Do arts and crafts with your children. Take them away from the television. Take them away from that, from learning and being programmed. Because in the process of them being programmed, they are losing their divinity. They are losing their inner high priestess. And then they'll grow up to be lost people that will have to go through all the work to find themselves again. Do more hands-on things. Teach your children skills. If you don't know how to do something, Google it. But learn skills. Watch things that are constructive. Watch things that are constructive. Because when we watch deconstructive or destructive television, destructive video games, destructive programming, we kill the inner child. And then we wonder, how did we get a generation of trolls? It's because no one did their responsibility of actually taking the time to honor the inner child in their children. And that's why we have so many people that feel like they were dolls in their childhood, and either their parents did whatever they wanted with them, or their parents put them on a shelf because they didn't do what their parents wanted them to do. We have all these trolls, all these kids that have no sense of respect, no sense of community. That is how you destroy God, is by not showing children how to have a sense of community, how to have a sense of respect. By not parenting the blessing that you were given is how we end up with kids that have no respect, no sense of community, no sense of love, no sense of God. And that is how they are successful in killing God and killing spirit and allowing darkness to take over the world. The darkness will dress up its offer in the most beautiful way for you and make you think it's normal. And will make you desire your own destruction, like a lot of people are right now, desiring their own destruction, thinking that something that they know innately is, there's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with this situation. They know innately. Their intuition is trying to tell them, is trying to warn them. Their spirit guides are trying to warn them, but they're lining up for their own destruction. It's crazy to me. Make it make sense. It's like Mech, goddess of war. Remember, we are still in war. Even though the light is winning, we are still at war. And the last piece of the war is, do we stand up for what's right? Or do we pretend that what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right? Let's go ahead and see what other goddess message there is from the goddess and sirens. Pele, purpose. Pele is an indigenous word meaning purpose. Stepping into your purpose, y'all. We were just talking about this. Step into your purpose. So spirit is giving us signs from everywhere. Step into your purpose, Pele. Pele is the goddess of purpose. Okay, she's an indigenous spirit of purpose. And Sekhmet, reduction. So stepping into our purpose, remembering that spirit will never give you anything you're not powerful enough for. Ooh, this is interesting. The Valkyries, redemption. A lot of us have made a lot of mistakes, and it's time for us to redeem ourselves. Okay? I do believe Pele may also be a person in Ifa. I'm not sure. But remembering, we have to acknowledge when we have done wrong, and we have to redeem ourselves. It's okay if you were asleep before. It's okay if you were asleep before. It's okay if you are just waking up and you're realizing, oh my God, how did I let this happen? How did I not look at this? How did I not know about this? Okay, so now redeem yourself by doing something. Redeem yourself by actually doing something. That's what the Valkyries want to tell you. The Valkyries are the beings, the female warrior spirits in Norse mythology. My wife knows more about this. Who pick up the souls of the dead warriors. So you would have had to have a very honorable death for the Valkyries to pick you up. And their redemption, they're all about redemption and honor, redeeming yourself in an honorable way. And there comes Bast. So we have the two cat goddesses today, Sekhmet and Bastet or Bast. And she wants to remind you to play, to spend time outside, to play with your inner child, to step into your inner child's energy, to allow your inner child to teach you something today. And maybe those of you who have children, allow their inner child to teach you something today. So there is Bast. Ooh, Yemaya. Hope. So Yemaya, the energy of hope. Remember, the ocean is always tumultuous, but this is interesting. This kind of ties back to the moon card for me, because the moon controls the oceans, and Yemaya is known as not the goddess, but she's not really a goddess. She is a guardian, a spirit energy, an elemental energy of the ocean, an Orisha. So however you identify Orishas, it's up to you. In my culture, we identify them as elemental beings. Elemental, powerful beings. And for us, she represents the ocean itself and its tides. Its tides of the ocean can bring you destruction, or it can bring you wealth. It can bring you hope and possibilities. Because it can be a way for us to transport goods, right? The ocean people used to be so dependent on the ocean to get themselves, to trade their goods across different countries. So it could be a blessing to have, a ship on the ocean arrive safely to harbor, or it could be a curse if if your ship was destroyed. All right. So there is Yemaya reminding us that there is always hope if we step into our purpose, if we remember to connect with our inner child, to heal our inner child, to heal our shadows, to remove that from our lives which no longer serves us, and which no longer not just only serves us, but what no longer serves others. Because some of those things that we remove from our life, we forget to remove our own toxicity, our own toxic thoughts and actions. Because our own toxic thoughts and actions may not be harming us, but may be harming others. Ooh, and the last one, but not least, Miss Bridget. 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 So there's interesting stories. You know, a lot of people believe that the Loa Bridget, Mama Bridget, is actually Bridget, the goddess, the Norse goddess, the Celtic goddess of the hearth and healing. Whatever you believe is up to you. But she represents the healing, that in order for us to heal, we have to listen to the advice of all of the other goddess, elemental, guardian energies that are telling us we have to come together, we have to redeem ourselves, we have to step into our purpose, we have to remember to give time to our inner child and to heal our shadows and to redeem ourselves and reduce the things out of our lives, toxicities, people, things that are no longer serving our greatest purpose. All right, my loves, that's the message for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you have a great day, an amazing day. I hope that you are able to tap more and more into your intuition today and not allow yourself to cover the sun with your fingers. And to allow yourself to be able to absorb the truth of the universe. Much love and blessings. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow with another message of the day. All right. Much love and blessings to you all. Bye-bye.